I read online that it's a bad idea to put clear coat on PlastiDip because it becomes difficult to peel. Also, some theories that I've heard or just things that I've read online is that the PlastiDip actually melts into the clear. I don't know if that actually happens or not. I'm wondering if they're applying clear coat to PlastiDip that's not dried. Who knows, right? All right, so I'm gonna try out my, experiment here on this piece of scrap plastic that I found. As you can see, I'm just using the Performance PlastiDip brand. I gave this little piece of plastic about 4 coats. I plan to use the glossifier on 1/3 of it. And then I had some of this clear coat, which is a Rust-Oleum, and it's supposed to bond to plastic. So I'm gonna try that. Maybe people have been using a different kind of clear coat. And then I had this Mod Podge. I just kind of found it, and it has acrylic in it. I'm gonna see how it actually works out. So I'm gonna cover, 1/3. I'm gonna do like 3 strips and see how it works out with the Mod Podge, and that's what I'm gonna use first. And all I'm doing here, I'm gonna give it a real light coat first, and then I'm gonna follow up with a heavier coat. So I'm gonna do about 2 coats of this. I don't want to overdo it because I don't want to overpower the PlastiDip. The properties of PlastiDip are the rubber. It needs to be malleable, that way you can peel it off. That's the whole point of PlastiDip. If not, you just end up with paint, right? Now I'm gonna try the Rust-Oleum brand and see how that works out. All right, so I'm just gonna cover up the other half. Clear coat with the Rust-Oleum, and this is supposed to bond to plastic, so you can actually use this on plastic. So I'll give it 1 light coat. So then let's just finish off with PlastiDip glossifier. So we'll give it here a couple coats. I like how these other 2 ended up. I don't know, the glossifier kind of tends to not be as shiny, which is the downside to the glossifier, because the whole reason people want to put clear coat on PlastiDip is because they want to make it shiny. They want to make it look like it's an actual paint job. If you All right, so just to recap, okay, so Mod Podge, Rust-Oleum, Gloss Clear, which bonds to plastic, and the PlastiDip. And as you can see, the middle strip is actually shinier, and I don't know why there's like smudges on there. Clean it off here a little bit. Now the PlastiDip side, you try to clean it, it feels grippy. It kind of grips the towel. Now one thing that you can do is you can add Armor All or just any type of protectant, mist it lightly over the PlastiDip. And so I'm just gonna put it on this napkin here. I'm gonna wipe the PlastiDip section. Now what this does, and I actually used this in my car inside, because I have PlastiDip inside my car. I used an Armor All. It has UV protection, but it also gets rid of that tackiness, that grippiness of the rubber, and it makes it a little bit smoother. Okay, so I'm going to get a coin, and I'm going to kind of nick each one and see what it does. Now, the Mod Podge, not too bad, but look at what it did on the clear. And I'm not doing it too hard. I'm just kind of medium pressure. And look, the PlastiDip side, you can hardly tell that it got scratched. But I was kind of disappointed at the Rust-Oleum one because that was my favorite one until I did this test. I did it with the tip here. Let's try to do it with the flat surface, see what that does. Okay, once again, you do get that scuff. You can see it on the PlastiDip side, but not as bad as the other 2. UV protectant. Now let's gouge it. Let's see what happens. Let's see if this stuff peels off pretty easy. Okay, so PlastiDip, no brainer. It has a lot of coats of PlastiDip. Ooh, that's interesting. Mod Podge side, it's a little hard. Okay. So the PlastiDip side has a pretty good thick coat on it. So let's see how it works out if we try to peel it here. Okay. First is a little hard. It kind of starts flaking, but once you kind of mess with it with your nail and start pulling it up, it actually peels up pretty easy. Once you get it going, like it really starts going. And this is the beauty about PlastiDip, and this is the whole reason you want to use PlastiDip, is because of these properties. It's rubbery, It's durable if you apply it on correctly and thick enough, but you also can't give it too much traffic. But look at that. I mean, it peels off pretty easy. Not bad. That's PlastiDip, about 4 coats. Too light, too heavy, and then the glossifier on top. That makes it pretty thick. Now, let's try the side that has the Rust-Oleum clear coat on it and see how well that pulls up. It feels tough, and it actually feels like it's stuck on here. You can still remove it, but it's gonna take some force, and you'll probably ruin the part on the bottom unless you use something that won't scratch the plastic. But it's not really peeling off. The PlastiDip has lost all its malleability. All its rubbery properties are gone, which defies the whole purpose of using PlastiDip in this situation. I mean, you can already see that this could practically be a nightmare, especially if you're doing a really large piece or a piece that's very important. Not very practical. So let's try the Mod Podge, which has acrylic, and it's the same thing. I mean, you could just pretty much just scrape it off with your nail, but it's not very practical. So yeah, definitely not a good idea to use this inside your car or just really anywhere. I mean, you're gonna have a harder time. If you want to go this route, just use the glossifier. If you want this stuff to be removable, use the glossifier. Don't put clear coat on it. And there you see it. See, I tried peeling it off and it just automatically stopped where the clear coat was. Definitely not a good way to go if you're going to use this on your car and you want this to be removable. Now, if you don't want this to be removable, it's still not a very practical way of using it, because if you put it on your car, it's going to get scratched anyways. I mean, any little nick and ding would just mess it up. So, moral of the story is, just don't use it. Don't use clear coat on PlastiDip. I mean, yeah, it might seem like it looks better, but in the long run, it won't be as durable.
Wanna take a ride?